Hello, everyone. If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
And this is Smokey Steve and Marc. Welcome or welcome back, and happy Thursday. This Thursday is a Friday for me, so I'm very excited. I'm off tomorrow into the weekend, and then the middle of next week we're closed on Wednesday. So it's a less active time of year. It's a little less busy. The first quarter's over. The last quarter's not here yet, so it feels like there's a little moment there. Oh, thank you, honey. That's okay. You can catch the replay if you want to. So we're going to revisit our fair lady Shantal for a few different things. Now we didn't meet last Sunday, so we're going back a little bit further into the midweek. So I'm going to take us back about 4 to 5 days or so with her content. And if you've been paying attention, she's running her mouth. Running her mouth, running her mouth. Are other people running their mouths? Does that make it right? Or does that make you engaging in the same shit behavior you say they're doing? But we'll get to that shortly. So, since the last we sat down, there was going to be no more mukbangs. Well, now they happen, but they're not fast food because a sub shop isn't fast food. Last week, Charlie Gold had come up. Charlie Gold taking some control in her life and taking care of herself and smashing Chantal's goals. Shantal had the only thing she was working out was her mouth. Being angry at Charlie Gold does not make you lose weight. It does not make you not have serious issues in health and stuff. So we did some raging. The raging was, I think, the big thing. The one that I had caught, she went after Yaba. She went after French Fry Girl. She went after Kalari, and she went after garlic bread. So I think she's looking at her math and the time of the month and thinking, I can't get behind again like I did those other months, where she had lost a whole week due to the blackout. And then she took another period of time off where she wasn't off, but she was in black in the background and like she was somewhere she couldn't speak freely. And she went through that little spurt. So, and then of course we roll into the next health crisis because there's always one. Though at this point it sounds like she's taking her medication for her diabetes, which to her means that she can completely ignore any and all attempts at lifestyle change because the medicine will be the thing that fixes everything. I take a lot of medicine. It doesn't fix everything. We'll share a little bit on that too. So for today, we'll be looking at the raging that was done, and why I think Shantal doesn't like the ladies who review her and who talk about her, and then add garlic bread to that. She doesn't like him either. Apparently, if someone doesn't show a picture, she can't get up her mean girl enough to come up with a name. So I need a picture so I can do this. Yeah, because you're 12. And that's how you insult people. Don't you understand someone saying you have zero character should be more hurtful than, oh, you have 2 chins? That's a bigger comment. It's about you as a person, as a entity, more than just your body. But I never really accused her of being, selfish is not the same as self-care. There's a big difference. So, why the sudden rages? She can't resist a chance to win a pity party with some newbies. You think garlic bread is too gullible. I like garlic bread. I think he gives her a long leash to hang herself when he tells what's going on. So, there's not so much in the way of accusations, but here's what happened and here's what I think's going on. But his are good for people that don't like to watch her and you just want to get the quick recap. He's become one of the channels I think that's good at that too. And he has a nice voice. He's got radio voice. So he's not bad to listen to either. And he did talk even, I think, was it today? Might have been. About success and how it looks very different for different people. So I think the last delivery with the luggage got her busted by Kuwait authorities. Perhaps. So she ended a live stream today, it was a little while ago, with, oh shit, I'm in trouble, gotta go. And that was where it ended. The whole stream just normally, and then that's how it ended. Now, Chantal's manipulative, and I think there's a manipulation going on with that. So, the sudden rages because she needs money. She did a home goods haul, and that was the one at the end that she was like, oh fuck, I gotta go. Oh shit, I have to go. She buys a lot of crap. She bought a lot of just junk. They don't have a huge apartment. We have a bigger apartment than they do. I'm sure we do. Maybe 1.5 the size. But we don't live with, it's not a single family dwelling. There's not 6 bedrooms or anything like that. But I get the feeling that it's so small that with all that stuff coming in, it would only be tolerated if it was going right the hell back out. So she may have, her number may have come up. She said that they were going through properties and screening people to see who had the appropriate paperwork and who was supposed to be there, and they're clinching down on it. I guess the thinking was that they wanted to open it up to get more international talent and business to come in. The US does that too. They'll give visas for people coming from abroad if they have some worthwhile talent they could use in the States. And Shantal making videos with her husband is not, I don't know. There's people that do incredible vlogs going through the Middle East. They see the things that we'd rather see that Shantal doesn't do. So why do we watch? Because I can. Because I can. Someone turned her in. She's not supposed to be there. Hey, you can't control what other people do. Shantal lays the game of, I remember, where were we? Picture it, Sicily, 1953. Where were we? We were going back to Natter's place to go get a CPAP, which all of a sudden became a medical device that I need to live. Drove all the way to his house, and then sat in her car because he wasn't coming out. And she said, you know, I can't help if one of the viewers calls the police on me, or on you. I can't control what other people do, so you might as well come out now. So people try that with her, and she gets all sort of butthurt because I think she thought she invented gaslighting. So my husband is not, he's not here for the show. He's in and around running. He worked late. I got out quick today, trying to get out in the morning, so I have my very sad Pete's kind of scruff going on like that. So she's constantly disrespecting it. She is, and it's in two ways of ignorance. One, she says things she knows that are hurtful and stupid. Two, she doesn't know the context of anything she's saying because not only didn't she not learn the language, she didn't learn about nuances, discussion, how to respond to people who are talking to you. She can point at the menu and say the few same greetings. You know, that's pretty much it. So the CPAPs are only necessary medical development is what I learned. I think if she needs to breathe during the day, she probably needs oxygen. You know, the little, it goes in the nose. She can't put it behind her ears, though, with the abaya. How is she going to wear, how would you wear portable oxygen in a hijab? Because her ears aren't out, really. So I don't know how it would be done, but it would be recommended. And I don't know if she kind of accepts at that point, you know. I don't know. I don't know. So, shit, she's got to go, and she went. The threats toward French Fry Girl came up, too, about threatening physical stuff against her. Now, it's a joke. It's so funny. When she ran into French Fry, they took a selfie together, okay? It was not a big deal. I would put more money on French Fry Girl taking control of the situation if Shantal came back. Shantal thinks that she's prim, proper, and that these other fat, ugly women could never have the life she has. From what I understand, French Fry Girl's buying a house. The last thing you bought was a coffee. I mean, you're not... I appreciate that Shantal wants to travel and live kind of the traveler lifestyle and do that, and then maybe have a home base. There's a lot of people that do it. I have a very good friend from elementary school whose home base is London, but he travels constantly. And I mean, those like 12, 15-hour flights that a lot of us don't really, you know. So I can't imagine her yarn having to get the oxygen up and underneath the hijab. She'd be fixing it all day. All day she'd be doing this. So she has to renew her visa 3 months, show she's not married. I think it's going to be... She calls visa runs travels. Tomato, tomato, I guess, for her. But I don't think she's going to have it as good as she has for a while. The raging is insane. What she was saying about French Fry Girl, she's insane. She's not stable. Okay? A lot of people get a lot of shit from different directions. Chantal's not the only person on YouTube who has people that don't like her. But she's one of the only ones I've seen that doubles down and starts a fight over it. And then she has consequences and comes back and does it triple down and does it again. So when she's making her whole channel about that, it's not as interesting. Like I said, I guess anything can be content if you want. Threats to old friends, stories from 20 years ago, food I lied about shopping for. Like, every time anything all now is content on her channel because she's got nothing to show. And everything is like too many ads, like maybe every 3 to 5 minutes there's an ad, and in her shorter videos there's like a 3. I feel some sort of way about putting a whole lot of ads in a video. Personally, I don't feel like doing it. I almost feel like it's TV. Put them here, there, and I watch it back first to make sure the ad is somewhere useful. Not where it's gonna. Jason X, first live, welcome, welcome. Do join us. So, tons of people who hate me. I'm not even a creator. All part of the internet game. Don't know why Foodie thinks she's too special for it. Yeah, this goes on. She's not the only person this kind of stuff goes on with. And I would argue that Shantal is a very abrasive personality, which on its own could have people feel not quite so fondly of her. To say nothing about people just going after her for being big, which they never do. Fat is the least of her problems if it's, we're all gonna say what's going on. That's the least of her problems. She would make accusations, because I started watching Kalari, who I love. She's doing fit bongs, and she had a couple shorts out. She's on vacation, from what she said on her channel, but she got a couple shorts out because Shantal put Kalari's name in her mouth again. Now, she talks like Shantal, like, oh, Nicole, thank you. It's a dancing pair. The problems that she was having with, let me go back, lost my thought here. Wedding certificate. Okay, there's more with French Fry Girl. So besides just raging, and it was Yaba, and it was Kalari. Kalari, that's what I was saying. I like her channel. She does it very differently, and her channel got a pop because Foodie Beauty said her name. So Shantal wants to, take credit for stuff. You can take credit for that, but what did you do but help another small creator's channel grow? And give them another outlet for all their other work they're doing, and other creative projects, and all that kind of stuff. So, and her insults, again, tend to be poked at people. She was saying shit. Now, this got her in trouble last time, the community post, and she had put one up about Kalari, again, mentioning she has damage in the front. I used to be bulimic, and she had shared as much as she was, too. I had some back teeth that need replaced. She said her front ones are still in the works, that, they'll get there when you get there. But Shantal has to try to harness something that someone may have had to take a little time to get comfortable with and useful, and throw it back in your face like a little mean girl. Listen, mean girl, you're not going to knock French Fry Girl's teeth out any more than you're going to chase off soldiers throwing books behind the couch. Have a little better idea of your place in the world. Not everything is possible. I hate to be a buzzkill. That's not a very hopeful thing to say. But not everything's possible. Now, there's incentives to do difficult things, and one of those, actually, was that it was offered to Shantal to have a first-class seat to and from Kuwait to Canada and back. What was this one? This one was if there was a signed piece of paper that French Fry Girl wanted. What was the other one? Show the wedding certificate and I'll take a month off. That was another one French Fry Girl said. Show the certificate, I'll take a month off. She can afford to take a month off, and guess what? People will miss her. They'll miss her. I mean, she is a big voice in the reaction community. Is she your favorite? You're not favorite? It is what it is. She has one of the larger channels, but she has very large number of views beyond that. Like, she's getting the kind of views you would think a channel would be even a little bigger than Chantal's would get. But her people like her. When she goes live, Chantal's at the point where she has maybe 500 to 1,000 people on a big live, and she's got 5,000 people just in there hanging out. So, I don't know. UK, her insults are always 100% projection. She gets so... And the people that she thinks she's above and prettier than and blah, 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 they all have, more to show for themselves. Like, Chantal's buying coffee and men's cologne and wasting her money trying to keep a man. French Fry Girl's gonna go buy a house. Go do something else with it. Shantal pokes at individuals of color. She has in the past. The only thing about it is that it makes it curious is that she never seems to have a good reason for why she doesn't like brown and black people who comment on her channel. She never says anything out loud. She just there's a level of hostility. And I think jealousy, honestly. What would I be jealous of? I have a man, I have a condo. You better have your bags packed is what you better have. But Shantal has a loveless marriage, and they're not hurting anybody. If they were going to have kids, it'd be different. She can enter into a contract with no love and have a husband. She's within her rights to do that. But I think she sees other people are able to be themselves on YouTube, and people still like them. So, Kalari's very, hard on the sleeve type. Yaba, for years, I've been laughing to her stuff. You got married on your birthday today. Happy, 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 Catherine. Thank you for the super chat. Congratulations. Congratulations. So she was poking at her, but, Kalari's married. I think she writes as a trade. And is accepting of her current situation. Shantal would never be comfortable in her skin if she had some sort of physical thing she couldn't hide. She always thinks everyone's staring. Why else is she bundled up to her nose? So, I don't know. But as far as French fry girl paying for the flight back and forth and going off, yeah, I would take advantage of it. Now, Shantal expects a catch. There's always a catch. And of course, French fry girl is the one who stole her cat. She didn't steal anything. You did so little research into who you were giving your cat of 20 years away to that you forgot to look you probably could have went to her Facebook page and saw that they were this connected. But you were too busy doing other things and too busy to go down the stairs to see who took it from Pete's and too busy to do any of the other stuff with it. So the actual reception is until Saturday. Oh, cool. Well, that's good to have a couple days off. I would have thought of that. We should have had our reception like a week later so everyone got some sleep first and got to do that. Curiosity and speculation is really what makes her channel, I think, for the most part. People fish in and she drops hints and she's not new to that. For example, she said, the oh shit stuff at the end of the video. She knows some of us are waiting for bad things to happen to her. Out of karma, not malice. As long as it stays there, I feel like it's okay. Schadenfreude, if we need to go there, we can do that too. But people guessing about what she's doing. Where is she? Is she traveling? Is she doing this? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Where did she go? Is she replying? I bet she's steaming. The curiosity about the what and why. I think Shantal gets off on manipulating people because she said in the Cubabees, she gets off on manipulating people. And not only gets off, she gets their money because she comes back, gives a fake apology, pretends she's in a precarious situation, usually has some vague health concern, and then when the pity starts coming, she can't get enough. Until the new people who come into the channel turn around and are like, you're as much of a bitch as everyone said. And she tells you, leave. If you go, more will replace you. So that's Shantal being herself, and then she's curious why no one likes her. It's not my fault she has to put on an act to be marginally tolerable in a relationship. I don't know what the motivation was with Salah, but it wasn't love. Everyone got something out of that deal. So the question is, at what point is the deal over? If the Kuwaiti morality police turned off her power and whatnot, I don't know. But knowing Shantal, this is probably complete news to her. Complete. She was on TikTok all day, sitting like a seal, picking food out of her belly button. And all of a sudden it's like, oh man, stuff's happening here. She doesn't understand that her rights are, that she's somewhere else. She's going to get an Uber to the Canadian embassy and convince them to send her home first class because she needs 2 seats, but they don't have any more. She doesn't contribute much to Canada. I can see where Kuwait would make the same point where they don't think she contributes much there. If she was going to be a travel blogger and doing tourism and hospitality stuff, you can make a case for it. There's travel people that live quite well on the views of other people. And that's the gig as far as money goes in YouTube. That's how that works. But what? They break. Is everyone doing good this evening? Congratulations on the marriage. I don't care for French Fry Girl or Foodie Beauty. Both seem up to no good to me. I don't get I don't know. There's so much hostility there. So much. Now on Chantal's end, she's just defending herself. Of course, she's just defending herself. So she can say whatever she wants. Because do you know what they say about me? And she always goes, they call me fat. She's trying to rally a fat minority mob. Do you hear how they talk about us Muslims? That's unacceptable. Did you hear what they said about fat people? Unbelievable. They're such monsters. Just to rally a mob. Just to rally a little mob. To make it seem like there's people on her side. And she continues with that lie by turning off the likes and dislikes in her comment section and highly editing the comments. If you see a video with 9,000 views on her channel and there's only 6 comments and they all happen to be good, that should tell you something. Like that should let you know this is where people are with me. They're watching, but not because they like what they see. It's because they like what they think may happen down the line. How do I think Shantal would do in prison? She wouldn't. She'd fake a medical concern to spend most of the time in the medical unit, which is a little less crowded as the rest of the jail. But Shantal fakes medical problems when she's put in a position. And she wouldn't be the first person to do it. There's guys that go to jail and they're all tough, like Tupac, coming in. And then you'd see them in classification and they'd be crying and crying. And it's sad. I cried in jail, not in front of anybody. You can't do that. That's not the place for it. I already had a rough time in there trying to feel safe. Not because of the gay thing, but because of the jail thing. It was hard to feel safe. Yeah, the camel flu. So she'll get sick with something, and Salah's very concerned from afar. And that'll be what she's going through with that. So, but baiting us with bad news? How cruel, Foodie. We're all waiting for karma to kick in, and then you leave little hints like, uh-oh, maybe this happened. Uh-oh, maybe that happened. That is cruel. But for that manipulation, you have earned your dime. For the rest of it, catering to people who have fantasies and disorders as far as eating, and the mukbangs were supposed to be over, as far as I knew, until she got a look at how much money she was making. Mukbangs in any weather will do okay. She could be in Canada, she could be in Kuwait, she could be here, she could be there. When it doesn't work is when she has a Eat With Me that's like live and people in real time are telling her, this specific action you're taking, this eating, is killing you. And she wants to not only live long with that kind of a diet, but she wants to prove that it can be done. Like she's paid by the fast food industry to go out there and convince people that it won't kill you. I heard the guy from Super Size Me died. That's concerning. I mean, that was years ago, but he had like red hair, kind of shaggy. He was cute. Ate nothing but McDonald's for a month. Gained weight. All his vitals got really weird. He was eating what Shantal eats, plus. He was eating just fast food. She would eat that amount of fast food, plus home cooking, plus these were leftovers, plus. It was weird when she put on the red lipstick and started singing Chantilly Lace. She's weird. And she's too personally awkward to try to get close to French Fry Girl to even have a confrontation. They took a picture together. Wouldn't the biggest wool over the eyes be that they were in on it together? So, he died from cancer. Okay, I thought it was that. Her crooked lip bothers me. I think it bothers Salah probably too. Salah, I do think, is concerned more with the money in this. I mean, I think what happened with Salah, Natter, was they had an arrangement, and she thought through this arrangement he would invariably fall in love with her. Of course he would. Then she found the party lifestyle, and she found that she liked it, and it was a way to fit in and be cool. That's why she got so violently ill the first weekend she was there. You can't just casually take a huge blast of meth and not expect something bad to happen if you've never done it before. And curious that on your first date with the person, it was just sitting in the ashtray. Like, oh, okay, here's Steve's soda, and here's Steve's vape, and here's my crack pipe. Like it's nothing. Like, oh, that's for guests. So, I don't know. But with Natter, I think she kind of expected that during this arrangement, he would fall in love. Like Lifetime movie, he would fall in love with her. He'd realize, man, all these other women aren't that. It's you, Shantal. It's you that I've wanted all along. Blah, blah, blah. Now, he might have told her that to keep the cash coming. But to save face for the rest of us, he was always kind of like low-key hostile on camera with her. Only claimed her once for a period of time that gave him an alibi. Well, she backpedals for... Well, things, though, when she's... We need to get the food again. We need to get meals ordered. She's taking Unicity all of a sudden. And it does all but split the atom, if you hear from her. So, she's still going into that, because I'm sure Unicity gave her a little bit of something to use the product, give a review, or show it. She takes it, like, whenever. For the fiber. I try to eat a high-fiber diet. Helps me feel full. Keeps everything moving. I'm getting older, not younger. So, Tater tot, hello, hello, hello. So goes. But for, again, Kalari and French Fry Girl, who leaves it all kind of out there, too. She's not keeping too many, she comes on camera how she looks. She looks the way she looks. And then she has her video. Would her words be less valid if she were a size 2? Would her make more sense if a thin woman said all this stuff? A very thin woman about Shantal. Shantal would say, you don't know what you're talking about. You just hate fat people. Blah, blah, blah. Now, of course, another person who's not thin exactly, French Fry Girl, goes back and forth with her. She decides that she's the smallest of everybody because everyone else would, at her command, take out the black and put in a picture of themselves. These other people have had rocky lives too, but it's an endearing way because they've kind of found their way through some of the stuff. It's more touching because they follow through on the promises a lot of us make. Chantal's not the first person to make a promise about losing weight on her channel. There's probably more that do than not. This started as a weight loss channel. One of the things all YouTubers have in common. We like food. Not all fat, but we like food, I would say. I've always got food videos going on. $140 and it's 3 grams of fiber. An apple has more than 3 grams of fiber. And guess what? If you have it with other roughage, you could loosely call that a salad, which she would then take and cover in feta crumbles and cheese and bacon and wing sauce and gravy and whatever. Whatever. Sponsorships are funny. We've had people send us a couple things here and there, but only to review because, and it's strange depending on the size of your channel. We got sent a product. It was a vacuum to review. And so I went out and looked on the landscape and I put in the name of the product and there was channels almost identical to the size of ours, between like 6 and 9,000. We're at about 7.4 or something. And the other channels that got it were the same size. So I'm guessing they must have been looking for a specific audience and the small channels were the audience they were going for. It was also the best product we ever received. It was a stand-up cordless vacuum. If you do nothing for yourself this year, buy a cordless stand-up vacuum. I vacuum the house twice a day. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I'm not a big cleaner. I do the boxes and stuff, but I don't know. So yeah, the tough talk from Shantal, the speak about what a tough person she is and how she's going to fight. She cannot fight. I can tell you she can't fight. I can't fight. I'm big for nothing, but even I managed. The only time I ever got in a fight, I was in jail. And it was barely a fight. It was a screaming match that got a little physical because the guy used the F word a little more often than I would have preferred. And he was 4 inches shorter than me with long red hair. We used to call him Malachi. Now, you don't want to have pretty long tendrils on the block. People can take it some sort of way, and he conspicuously went to PC the next day, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm not a fighter either, but Shantal, in her head, she's all of these things. She's a princess, she's a ride-along, she's a traveler, a world traveler. I'm not impressed. See, if any other vlogger filmed the traveling and then nothing else, Children of the Corn, Malachi, didn't he have the red hair? Or am I thinking of the wrong kid? So, Metamucil isn't cheap. It's not, Yoda. It's not. We have over-the-counter stuff. We're getting to that age. 104 in Central California. It's about 75 here. It got up to 80 plus, 85-ish today. But we got a ton of rain, and it's going to rain tomorrow, so it's all cooling off. It's just hot everywhere. It's getting to that time of year. So another 2 weeks and we will have summer, the start of, and then the days all start getting shorter again as we lead up into winter and going that way. Malachi's right. Thanks, Shellbell. I thought it was. So, yeah, she's not going to be fighting anybody. Her fucking arms are too short to reach past herself. How's she going to swing even higher? And she'll have to swing up, probably. And I'm going to guess that Shantal is scrappy. Eyes, throat, groin stuff. She'll do whatever. But that French fry girl would probably be able to stand her own a little better. Plus, no one would be rooting for Shantal. There's no side. Like, there's no big channel with her side. There's no steady Beezers who are having her side. If you've been keeping up with Mr. Snowflake, and it was part 3, I believe, of the new Shantal series that he was doing. And it really kind of shines a light. I can't imagine, Yaba calling me fat wouldn't bother me. If I was Shantal, the Mr. Snowflake documentary would probably bother me because it's primary sources, it's videos of her saying things, it's text. She likes to say, "Oh, you're twisting my words." That means your lie got caught. People say, "That's just a gotcha." That means you lied and I'm telling you quickly. Yeah, that's a gotcha. So, don't talk to her about carbs. She knows healthy carbs. She doesn't know fuck. She doesn't know anything. Go to a nutritionist. And don't lecture them about all the things that you've learned about diabetes. She's just going to have to do it her way. She's only going to have it her way. So, a cup of prune nectar is magical. They use off-label treatments. Oh God, I shouldn't tell you. Should I tell you a Mark story or not a Mark story? It involves rehab. So we met in rehab, right? And Mark was a opiate addict, pills, heroin, all that kind of stuff. He said so in his recovery journey, but he had a long drug history. Well, after prolonged periods of using painkillers, whether prescription or being abused or whatever, the bowels start to shut down. And they don't start to reactivate until you get this detox and it comes out of your system and things try to start move again. He was having prune juice like 2 glasses a day every day because they don't really do, laxatives and pills and stuff like that. And I've heard of cases where people actually had to go to the hospital and get a little assistance cleaning things out because of impaction. And it's not the first time I heard of a drug user, a heroin user, for the same thing having that happen. So we were familiar with prune juice. When I first met him, he was drinking a ton of it. Now, now that we're over 40 and Mark's a little older than I am, we have things like Miralax around the house. But I still keep old laxatives around in case you need something a little more quick acting for whatever reason. So yeah. Pam Yoder, good to see you too. Good to see magnesium oxide supplements. I did that middle of nowhere when we started it. I said it's the same ingredient in both things. One was the supplement, one was the brand name. But for whatever reason, he likes what he likes, and that's called spoiling your partner. You can get the brand name, you relax, babe. So that's how you love a husband. That's how you have a husband. And I don't know about French Fry Girl's social life because I don't really watch French Fry Girl. I know Kalari's married, Yaba has a partner, and Shantal had to go buy one. She couldn't meet one? You're telling me there's not one? Well, maybe she's right. Maybe she couldn't have met one. But this whole husband hunt that she has been on is I thought Yaba was married. She has children, too. Oh, yeah, she does. Shantal brings it up, that you can't be anything else and be a mother. Just because she would have to be stuck doing one thing at a time, she doesn't understand other people who'd be mothers would be busier than that. Come out, scream for the governess. It'd be Pete's, probably. She'll move Pete's in as a child caretaker. What way would that turn? I can't imagine. The last live I saw was the one where she cut out real quick at the end and left speculation about what's going on. So she might as well have just put "to be continued." She knows people eat that shit up. It's the curiosity of what she's doing is why the bulk of people watch. They want to see if today's the day it all goes to shit, or if she's going to be her smug self. Some people just like to watch shows and gossip about them, like other gossip channels do, or like Bravo. The whole damn network, once you get after 11 p.m., is just talking about stuff. He's not her husband. It's never been consummated. Oh. Well, now, I don't know exactly. Now, apparently, Salah's been working a little bit more. Hey, Corey. Working a little bit more with the fragrance business and doing what he needs to do. At the point the other day, he left her out in the car. He had business. That time it was a haircut. Then he had business. And she acts like they're busy running around doing shit all day with that. Yeah, she was pregnant with when she was with Pete's. She terminated the pregnancies, both of them. No, one might have been I don't understand. She was pregnant twice and ended up with no kids out of it. And then later down the line, she ended up having a hysterectomy because I don't know. Because there is a God. I don't know. But she ended up having to have some surgery done. And to Chantal's, I think it would be upsetting because she doesn't want kids. She never said that she was going to have kids. She doesn't like them. They take too much attention away from her. She wouldn't want to have them. But to be told, you don't have the option of that anymore. Not that it's a choice. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't. And even if you wanted to give a child to your husband, wherever he's from and wherever you all end up, it's not something you could do. I mean, I don't think adoption is huge in certain family systems and certain family types. It happens a lot. You know, Mark's mother was adopted, but it was like, you know, through an agency and this and that. And if she had a kid with him, there's 5 more years of drama, too. Custody battles and her using the kid as a weapon and manipulating the courts and demanding alimony, even though she makes more, but on paper she makes nothing. So she wouldn't cut their nails. Yeah, the cats. She had problems maintaining a cat. And cats don't need, like, no attention, but they're pretty low maintenance if you meet their needs. If you give them water and decent food, and they have some places to play, and you engage them if they're house cats or they get time outside. She doesn't brush her own teeth. She's not going to brush the cat's teeth. That's like beneath her. That's like for her to take over to have somebody else do. She's been too rich with funny money for too long. Now that she has to use the money to pay actual bills and otherwise, and because her views are not as high as they were, they've dipped quite a bit. So she's making more videos to make up for the fact that the videos she's putting up aren't getting as many views. But I don't know if that helps. That screws up sending out notifications. It screws up a few other things. Cats are the easiest to care for, except a plant. I mean, they're the only, like, I can't think of anything. I would actually, it's weird because I kill plants, but the cats are very, very much okay. They're good. I'm trying to convince my parents to get a cat because they spend more time home. I mean, they both still work even though they're retired, but, you know, a little something. I like to think they had fun babysitting when Mark and I were living in that hotel for a brief period, and the cats came over, but... So, I don't know. If luckily, pill pockets to medicate the cat. Beamed in to say, I hope Mark is doing well. Thank you, Vince. He's doing good today, actually. I could listen to you talk about Shantal all day. See, why would you wish that on me? You know, I could see the temptation of, like, doing mukbangs if you could make a shit ton of money doing them. If I had no soul and didn't care about my health and I was just going to do it for the money, then fine. You know, all jobs have risk. We'll risk it. Why not? But I don't think I could do the other stuff Shantal does and collect money for it and feel good about myself. That's not a moral judgment. Like, I was raised Christian, so that's where a lot of my old morals and values come from. Like, do unto others and don't be a shit and all that other kind of stuff they say to do. So, her religion's going to be a little bit different than that. There's a religious component of everything where she lives. Everything is tied into faith of some sort, whether it's the garments, the clothes, the time of day, the activities people do, how people socialize, how people are expected to act in and out of the home. And that's cultural difference. It looks weird to me because I grew up in the Western world. So without either educating myself or watching a documentary about other places, I wouldn't know what anyone else was doing anywhere else. So I like to hear you talk about because I've only seen other addictions this extreme. You have a way of translating it to that unique. Thanks, Kat. I like that. I tried to, like, report live from the storm, live from the center of the storm. You know, I was ill enough and sick enough that I went through a lot of the paces that other people do, but thank God I came out the other side of it so far. You don't want to get cocky, but I've been, you know, through the outside of it so far. But again, she's not going to do anything that isn't her idea. When she finally goes to get a gastric bypass after years of people begging, she'll be like, I wanted one all along. What are you talking about? So, I don't know. She's too big for that, though, too. She's too big for... And she wouldn't. Who is she without being big? It fits her personality. It fits her nastiness. It fits every single thing about her. It's the ultimate cherry on top that she's 400 pounds on top of the personality. And honestly, it's probably easier for her to lose weight than it is to change, like that kind of change. Things happen. Unfortunately, sometimes big medical things happen. And that's where change comes from. You know, I had a few very close calls that kind of got my attention. But she just caution to the wind. Why not? Eileen, hello. Glad you could make it. We're still good. We're still gabbing. We're still talking. Let me reference the notes and see if we mentioned everything we should. Okay. Raging. We covered raging. And my thought that the major complaint is that people can see themselves in Yaba and French Fry Girl. They're not trying to pretend to have a life they're not having. They're not trying to, you know, spruce it up. They're not trying to make it less than it is. They're just doing their thing. And Shantal's assessment of it means nothing. And they wouldn't even have to insult her back. You have nothing. You know? And if you're happy that way, fine. Some people don't want for much. Spouse, a little bit of company, and their cell phone. I can't imagine spending that all the day on TikTok, laying around with the air conditioning blasting at like 50 degrees, Salah with frostbite, and she just sits there and waits for the next meal to come. I mean, she's created a life so boring that what else would be interesting other than food? She's not going out. She's not doing anything. She trolls online, I think, to feed her own. I don't think a French little girl has a man. Thing is, though, Sean, where's your man? Where's your man? I don't know. What did you pay, Shantal? Credit or cash? What'd you do? Bend over so I can swipe my credit card? And having a man means essentially nothing. People who are single are single. It's a thing. I know people who've been single their whole life. They love it. They love it. And they wouldn't trade it off. They didn't have kids. They didn't have families. They may have had some very close friends and a few casual encounters here and there to get those needs met. And that was it. You know, people, it's different for women in the West, certainly, than it is where she is. But because she's not allowed to do too much of anything, she doesn't do too much of anything. And so everything can, you know, way down to that. I know, Thunder, people give single people a lot of shit, but if you have other goals, you just don't feel called. I'm not a parent. I wouldn't be called to parenthood. My vocation is the weird gay uncle, okay? I'm not going to be a parent to children. The only time that would happen, and we've talked about it before, if suddenly, I have a niece and 4 nephews, from 16 down to like 6. And only if everybody else in the family died would they even consider giving me probably custody of their kids. But I'm not gonna, I don't know what the fuck I would do, but I don't want them to go to a group home if I have to get another job or a couple. You know, I'm sure Mark would help out. He can sell crafts. But other than that, other out of responsibility, if it landed in my lap, no, I wouldn't volunteer probably to deal with a kid. So people always think you're weird. I cared for a little while. I used to care about a lot more of that stuff. I was thinking, too, when I was watching, Mark had weighed in, because Kalari's name came up, and it was a strike of it, and I just like her channel, I like her personality. And she has the dental damage up in the front, and Mark does as well, and he's extremely self-conscious about it. And she was able to, just by making that video, provide some reassurance to him that is noticeable. There was some things she said about, you know, this is how I look, this is my life, these are my goals. And he was able to latch on to that. So somebody being themselves is, no, she didn't strike. She made a whole story that she didn't strike. It was just, when something is so wrong that you don't even have to respond, other people go, that's fucked up. So, people say stuff because you only have one kid. Somebody did that to my sister. My sister has 2, and her first was a C-section. And the hippy-dippy, kind of Whole Foods granola girlfriends she had in down where they were like, oh, unfortunate you couldn't have a baby the natural way. I was a C-section. My sister was a C-section. My brother was a C-section. So apparently they thought she missed out on the birthing experience. Her water broke, 24 hours, nothing happened, they did a C-section. My nephew was gone in 45 minutes by the time she got into the hospital. That was it. Lisa, hello, how are you? I know, like, no one ever, people, you know who ask me, I don't want to say dumb women, but women who can't tell if they try to hit on me, which only happens until I start talking or move my eyelashes or my wrist, and try to say, so, do you have any kids? No. Someone will say, so, are you married? Because they'll notice I have a ring on, but, so... Speaking of dental stuff, I think I'm going to video to cover my dental journey. Sigh. I'm getting them next month. Christine, that would be great. If you're comfortable doing it, I'm sure there's other people that can speak to the feelings that go with a lot of that stuff. I know I can. You know, it just so happens that the teeth I ruined on my own were in the back. But I only have like 24 teeth anyway. I can only afford to lose so many. But, you know, those were the choices I made. So I smoked for 25 years, and I still do a little bit. That takes damage on your teeth, makes your gums recede. You know, there's consequences to it. Was I thinking of that at 20? No. But the reality that my life is probably half over, if not more so, hit me closer on this birthday. I don't mind getting old. I just don't like pain and immobility, and I don't like people I love dying, and not being a part of my life anymore and having to go on another day. um, without the people you care about, it becomes hard. So, I don't know. We got off on something more emotional and more important. The implants are great. If it was COVID again, honestly, I might go for the implants because then I could stay home and not have to. Mark looked at the implants. It's always cost as an issue. It's always an issue to pay with teeth, eyes, and ears because those aren't part of your body, apparently. So, whatevs. So, let's see. Let's see if we missed anything, forgot anything. Getting old isn't for the weak. It is not. Youth is wasted on the young. I just get it now. And I'm trying to hold on to my 40s because I've met people in their 60s who would say, God, I'd love to be 40 again. And I'm like, why? I'm like, I officially have a bad hip. Like, a bad hip? I was an old raver candy kid, dancing 6 hours in a row. Hopped up on a little bit of speed and methamphetamine. But still, bouncing, you couldn't set me down. And then years go by, get a little heavier, a little less mobile. Time just goes on. I have some congenital, like arthritic type stuff in my lower back. There's no surgery, there's no treatment, there's no painkillers. It's just what it is. So things have changed. Though I have to say it keeps it pretty green because I live with Mark, and Mark is in constant chronic pain. So even if I'm not feeling so great, I try to shut up because I don't want to try to compare his day-to-day life with me having a rough evening or similar. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to compare his experience to mine and diminish his by saying it's similar, I guess. You were an early 90s raver? Do you think you're better off alone? It was like 1999. 2000 is when I was jumping in and out of that scene. And we would drive to Philly to go to the warehouse all the time. And then there was a couple other actual proper raves I went to. One was in an abandoned airport hangar, which was okay. First time I ever touched a man was at that rave, so it sticks out. I love Mark too, honey. I think a lot of us do. It's unfortunate. When I met him, he was nothing like this. He was working 50, 60 hours a week on the line in a kitchen, 110 degrees, and for years. And he'll tell you he was always a go, 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 busy, busy, busy person. And that this has really had him rethink, life a little bit and priorities and what can get done and what can't get done and what's physically impossible at this point for him. So we'll see. But I know y'all were asking. I was a late 90s raver. Peace, love, unity, and respect. Things are going okay. The two of us are good. We're in a good spot. I've been having a little bit of a better time. Therapy I've been doing helps. It's been helping. I have another appointment. I've had 3 so far. And basically what it's narrowed down to is I'm having distorted thinking and anxiety. So we're going to take that direction for it. You see, Shantal, if you're listening, you can't go to the therapist once. Just do intake and leave. The first therapy appointment with many therapists is a junk waste of time because you have to tell them your entire history of treatment. Now, Shantal doesn't have much of one, so it should be quick. But the first appointment is just answering questions. They're not going to tell you within the last minute of therapy, here's what you need to do to change your life, and do this exactly, and you'll be fine. There's work to be done in therapy. Much like with her taking her diabetes medication and assuming, well, my sugar's gone down from taking this, so I can just eat whatever I want now. That's not how that works. That's not how any of it works. Ideally, it would be like the lifestyle changes that would do it, and the medicine would assist if need be. But she's not unable to lose weight. She's not willing. She doesn't want to do the stuff that has to get done to lose weight. And she's big enough that if she cracks an ankle, she's going to end up bedbound. And I don't think she's as afraid of that as she should be. I don't know. Love you, Steve. You're so funny. Thank you, Corey. Yeah. She makes me mad when she sees every specialist for every issue and then does nothing. And then faked it going back to Canada so that she could, get weight loss surgery. And then remembering, which she said the first time she was there, was that it wouldn't be covered. Oh, it wouldn't be this or that. If 2 years ago, when she was bitching about there being a 2-year waiting list, if she just got her name on the fucking list, she could be getting it now. And I would maybe think if she got the bypass, you get full real fast. And I was thinking if she likes to get full, then she could just graze all day, but then she'll gain weight if she grazes all day. That's what they say on the 600-pound life. If you eat a little bit, it can stop how much you eat at once, but it doesn't dictate what you eat except for stuff your body kicks back. I had a couple girlfriends who they got the sleeve though. The sleeve is a little easier to explain. They just cut your stomach in the shape of a sleeve. Shantal wants to be bedbound. It makes me think. You hear the stories. There was the last 2 weeks ago of the person who said that they had a mutual client with Shantal and that they had a fantasy of a person gaining, losing mobility, fading away, losing action. Now, it would be a strike of gold for Shantal if she just happened to wander onto this person who likes seeing this happen. And the less she does, the more it turns them on. But then she must be getting money on her own because she's not growing in numbers with any of that shit. You know, like I said, the mukbangs are the most safe. Good times, bad times. She's after a rage, before a rage, after traveling. It's always good. So keep up the good work. Latte. Gym. I love it. It's so slow, but slow, stable. You got your temporary partial after they dug 2 broke teeth out. Yuck. That sounds awful. And that sounds like I might be walking into it. So I don't know. So quick review as we're bringing it down to a close. Let's just see what we went over here. So the raging, which made her look stupid and I don't approve of. And I think if anything happens to her, it's her own damn fault. She brought it on herself. Whoopsies! So thank you, Mrs. Kibbs. Thank you. Oh, it's a little... I used to play Nintendo like a madman. She took a break, came back, started running her mouth again. Is she going to get hit again for it? She could be. You know, and Kalari wasn't the one who struck her, so she has other people. Could you imagine there's other people than just 4 women who don't like her? What's to like? Like I said, being fat is her least problem. So she's not going to get anywhere fighting French Fry Girl if she comes back. I doubt, because she doesn't trust the situation, that she would take any sort of exchange, promise, or anything between French Fry Girl. If you do this, I'll do that. I won't go online if you don't this. I don't think she's going to go with that at all. She assumes everybody's as sneaky and manipulative as she is. She assumes other people have the same ill, selfish motives. And so when someone doesn't come out with something that reflects that, she thinks they're lying, or that they're pretending to be nicer than they are. Because Shantal can't fathom someone who would make a decision that was in somebody else's best interest, other than hers. So she doubled down on it. Let him take her channel. What would be funny would see her try. She gets so anxious around people. She can't even sit comfortably in a restaurant. And she's gonna what? Pound down the street, come down, get ready to swing. It's not gonna happen. And she's all talk and she's all bullshit anyway. She's from the hood. Well, give me a break. She could never. I lived and worked in North Philly for a number of years. She could never. Even walking from my car to the university where my office was, you'd hear folks sharing their observations about you. It's just what it is. So she had an emergency to shut it off? Yeah, I did. But I'm thinking it's either not a big deal or she's baiting people with mystery to hope they come back. You know, hopefully they'll come back and watch because what is she doing now? I guess I'll have to watch and see. But there's enough reactors covering her that people can find out how she's doing without watching her videos. A lot more, actually, are people watching other channels. There's literally 10 times as many people in a chat of French Fry Girls as hers. Now, not that they're competing, but if they were, in my head, French Fry Girl would win. You know, would I have gotten that cat the same way? Probably not. But stepping in to do that says a lot about her. And it says she guessed Shantal pretty well because for all of Chantal's flaws, she just gave her the cat. So she must have been pretty good at whatever her spiel was with taking it. But I don't know. She didn't even pretend to look at her phone. She has a couple tells. She'll get off real quick if she's just sick of it. If it's been an hour and there's been like only $8 in super chats, she'll be like, well, fuck this, I gotta go. It's not worth my time. It's not worth her time to sit there while people hand her money. And if they're not doing it fast enough, she's gonna get offline. And don't make her mad, you know how she gets. So, yeah, money scrap. I mean, there's nothing else. She says without reaction channels, You know, or without her, there'd be no reaction channels. If she didn't make content about fighting with other people on YouTube, what the hell would it be about? I'm gonna take another coffee. Let's go to the beach again. Salah, babe, just put me down. So, she's a baiter. When she says at the end of this that something's happening, it's just to have a cliffhanger, I think. I don't think anything big and dramatic's happening. Nothing that she wouldn't want anyone to know, or she wouldn't have said anything. She's not going to say to an audience of people that want to see bad things happen to her, oh no, something bad happened. If only to whet their appetite for when she makes her next video. So, that's kind of my guess. She had a fancy coffee. Yeah, I'd rather have fancy coffee. Everything becomes a video. So, completely out of pocket, even with camping guy, way too creepy. I don't look at reacting and talking about people the same way, especially going like real life, and having things like that. Like, I don't feel like I would. First of all, I don't think our channel could do that kind of thing, and I don't think we'd want to. You know, no hate. She's doing her thing. She's making her money. She's doing whatever she's got to do over there. Would I do it differently? Yeah. But then again, I'm not making $1,500 a night. So it depends. For her, it's worth it. For that, it's worth it. So a lot of people, while they can appreciate French Fry Girl's intentions in taking BBJ, they find in other areas of her content, they just don't like her that much. She's just not their cup of tea. So, yes, there was a lot of napkins in the hall, Little Miss. Quite a bit. There was napkins, bunch more food, after they just got food, and then they had ordered food. So, just a whole bunch more coming in. Now, if she is going to travel, you know, she would lay the groundwork. Well, why would I order all this food if I'm going to travel? Exactly. So we'll see what she does. If the next video comes back, it's going to... okay, what do we think? Community post? Video or live as her follow-up on the whatever drama she's trying to stir up for attention? 20 bananas. Not a diabetic. Shouldn't... it hurts me if they cut her feet off. Like, it hurts anybody. Like, she'll really show French Fry Girl. She'll eat whatever she wants until she's in a wheelchair. And somehow that's a flex for her. Because nobody else could afford to do as little as I do and still live. Fuck her. Fuck her. That's how this live stream's going to end. Fuck her. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for watching. I think it's going to be alive too. I think it's alive. Please do subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up also, if you'd be so inclined. You can hit the bell and get the alerts. We're on Twitter. It's X now. And then Facebook and Instagram as well. So you can get channel stuff, all other stuff. We do Foodie Beauty a couple times a week, and then we do our own thing for the rest of the time. So this is but a taste of the services we provide at SmokeySteveAndMarc. So thank you all for joining me. Hope you like the replay. I'm gonna leave this up. I'll just go back and probably throw a few ads in, and that'll be that. So thanks for joining us. Stay cool, because a lot of you seem hot. Congratulations again for people having weight loss successes and goals met and stuff. This is a good place to share that. People will care if you're doing well here, so it's okay to come and share good news here. You'll find some support. So thanks for all being here. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you soon. Bye. Say goodbye, Mark. He's in the garden. Bye. Thanks.